you could just for you to have an understanding of what we do, we're effectively like a lead generation, growth acquisition agency, and we work with people in tech, and we've been doing so for 3 years. So we've grown multiple offers, everything in tech. So in terms of our ability to craft an irresistible offer, go and try different experiments for go-to-market strategies, and then booking calls, and then closing deals, and then that's what we do. So that's kind of like the workforce behind you. My guessing is that if you have a really good idea and you have a really good networking of people who can support this idea, then me and my developers can help you build this, and then we can find some way that you can give us some value back. I'm not working for the money, which gives us an unfair advantage, because we can do different tests and things like that. So what's in it for me, the primary reason why I'm here is because of the potential network effect. Meaning, if I can provide results for you, hopefully you can introduce me some other people that then I can offer services and then get paid.
Awesome. Well, it's good to see you, and good to meet Daniel as well and the team. Yeah. So yeah, long story short, I created this idea. I kind of had the beginning of this idea as a CRM three years ago, when I was working with Bueno as a partnership lead. And there wasn't really any tool. There was a gap to kind of measure the qualitative value. Everyone was looking at vanity metrics when they're trying to create partnerships. And so it started as that early idea. And then I got asked to a company called Blue Water that I'm co-founder of. So the next 3 years, I was actually helping Blue Water as the co-founder. And in the last month, I circled back to this CRM idea and actually modernized it. And so now it's more of a infrastructure tool that I want to create as an API first tool that will have the ability to be acquired later. That's one of my goals. And it's focused specifically on the influencer marketing market. And so currently $1.3 billion are lost annually in the $33 billion market to fake accounts, fraud, bots are going crazy, fake engagement. And so what I want to do is actually help brands and agencies close that gap and stop wasting money and get a better return on investment. And so what created the moat for this tool of mine is that most creator platforms, actually all of them, are just measuring human interactions. Nobody's thinking about agent to agent qualitative data. So I'm measuring human accounts, hybrid accounts, which are run human and autonomous, and just agents, bots or autonomous accounts. So currently, creator platforms are saying bots are bad, right? It's a binary measurement, so they have more fraud detection versus people are actually deploying agents to now have utility and find, customers. So that needs to be measured. So that's my moat. I created a folder for Carlos to look into that has just a light paper in there, some imagery. I can show you guys what I've started on my own with Figma. And I've also created a different way to interact with this audience. So it would be good for me to show you, instead of plugging and chugging in one creator handle at a time or even trying to batch it. I've just created a search bar where you actually describe your campaign goals and it will propagate the discovery for you. So that's another issue with brands. They tend to go to agencies because they don't know who is the influencer or creator they should work with anyways. And so they can cut out the middleman for brands to actually just type in their campaign and their own KPIs, and then it'll propagate those people with a score. So I also analyze, I look at all these different metrics to analyze who's a good match for that company. So like safety, all the different, metrics.
For sure. That's really good. Okay. So yes, share your screen and then just like if you could show.
Awesome. Okay. Let me see.
Exciting.
Thank you. I'm so glad I circled back to it.
Hey, yeah, that's like a really intuition, eh? Like I was surprised because like, oh yeah, classes around and everything. I'm like, yo, like I'm so ready to help, like
Thank
extra.
you. Okay, so let me know if you guys can see this screen.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Let me just try and get to that tab. But this is Figma. And so I've just been designing in here. So I have signal intelligence for marketing in the agentic internet. And basically I have this search bar right here that you can see it's wider, it's longer and wider. So it simulates having natural language and not just kind of a singular search bar. I just have the basics going on. I'm going to have how it works, pricing, partner, and then request access. So
Uh-huh.
below you're going to find some examples. I may create a few less. I have 5 in there. I can always take away. And then this actually rotates to discover true alignment with creators. It rotates as a clip frame to brands, influencers, and then it ends on TrueCred. So that's the name of the tool. It's
Yeah.
TrueCred. And then what I'm going to do is I've just created 2 more, frames
Uh-huh.
where I can have how it works, jump, scroll and jump to here. It's going to go how it works. The next
Uh-huh.
is going to say pricing, and then both partner and request access are going to be clean pop-up modals. So it's going to be a scroll type of page like this. You're going to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
up and down. Really simple. And that's where I'm at. I can share on this screen where it will kind of show. Can you see the screen where it's rotating creators, brands? Are you guys able to
No,
see the screen?
it's not sharing, no.
Oh, okay, that's my prototype screen where it actually shows it in motion. So let me try and share that. And then if that doesn't work, then that's all right. So let
Yep.
me just try to share that screen. Okay, there we go. That should be working now.
Yeah. TrueCred. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me just open up
True.
the page. So it looks like this, and then I'll do a practice. Oh, okay. Let me share. Here we go. So this is an older version that I have in Figma Make, and what this does is this just allows me to have some messy code in the background just to let it actually work. So I can say like skateboarders in LA with audiences ages 18 to 24 that like fast food, right? So that would be kind of like some kind of prompt. So this is not how the answer is going to look like, but again, it's just something that I could create and it'll just give you the campaign. This will actually, before having these types of numbers, I'm going to actually reiterate the prompt to show that this is AI powered, to say, okay, we found these people, just have a short description, and then it's actually going to be a list of creators. And so again, this works, but it's just propagating, fake facts.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, that's as far as I got so
Okay, cool.
far. And the
Yeah.
last thing I'll show you is just some visual iterations of where the tool is going to be, and in the design folder here. So I had to use AI to just kind of propagate some things so it won't it won't look exactly like I want it to, but I don't know if I can share a tab within a folder, or
Mm,
can you only share tabs on?
you can share your entire screen.
Okay,
Click on the screen with the arrow.
okay, here
Yeah.
we go. Okay, so again, there's gonna be, I want this to be really simple. I want to make the MVP basically the dashboard that you saw in purple before this. So as I build out, this can also host more backend, but I really want to start simple. 1 for cost, 2 for time, and 3 for my moat. I'm racing against time, and I know my competitors don't have anything like this, and I just don't want to give them enough time to think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So they have their own things to think about, but I'm ahead on this, so I want to keep it simple. But this is a good visual where it shows, you can see I have labels. I have the handle on one side. I have human, hybrid, and autonomous. I have the social media platform, which I want this tool to be agnostic. I'm going to start with Instagram and X only. I'm not going to do TikTok, Meta, a whole bunch of things, because I also have platform, different weights for the platform. For example, X, it's okay to tweet and post a lot, but Instagram, people tend to have very visual, slower posts. And so I don't want that to score against the creator or influencer. So starting with 2 social platforms is already a ton of work. So I'm going to keep it to those 2, or even if I have to narrow down, choose one, and then just continue to add until I'm completely, domain dominant. But I'm going to start with X and Instagram. So that's kind of the gist of the tool. Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. I have so many questions. So when I see Figma designs and prototypes like this, my mind always goes to the back end and the complexity of actually pulling the data, because showing a dashboard, showing data is the easy part. Extracting data, segregating and making it clean and actually functional is the hard part. So do you have already some sort of like work, research, development in terms of how you envision the backend work?
I do. And I'm also open to suggestions. So let's see, I have my build out. Okay, so here is the flow that I have so far. It's because I'm non-technical, I'm just doing the UI in Figma, not even Figma Make yet, just designing. My flow without any devs was going to be Figma to Figma Make to just have something now working. From Figma Make, my prototype testing to Vercel to clean up the code and deploy. And then I was going to use Supabase or Firebase to host the backend data set.
Yeah.
And that's my flow right now.
So
Yeah.
let's make this a little thought experiment. So if we could go like this, and then we will have like MVP, and it's working to a degree in which we can support real proper reports. Meaning people could go do a search, that would be like an SQL search, and then we can propagate the data that looks nicely. What would you do first?
So I have a document for that as well. Okay, so just looking at my document, this is the back end piece where if I had front end as Next.js or Vercel, and then it goes to a API layer, which are my edge functions, like what I'm mentioning, and then it goes to Supabase, which will propagate the database.
Yeah.
And then after that, it will be a scoring engine, and then the creator data sources will be from X and Instagram. So the other tool that I haven't mentioned yet is I can use like Apify or a tool like that to scrape public data, because I also don't want any contingencies on waiting for API applications. One, again, cost. Two, a lot of social medias don't allow it, right? They try to prevent scraping. They want you to pay for the API, but there's enough data out there to actually grab sentiment from comments, likes, retweets. You just need a good agent or a good tool to grab that for you. So that's the other insert. I'm not necessarily jumping into creating my own agent just yet, but I can use like an Apify to just get me the proxy data that I need to then score and rank my creators.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have this deployed. It is working. Like, what is the first meeting that you're gonna book to show this to? Maybe raise some money. Like, let's pretend we already have it working. What is Kaz doing first?
Well, I went to Eat Denver and I pitched this in front of BitAngels and I got really good feedback. One of the judges was from Cointelegraph. Cointelegraph is doing an accelerator. They have 2 a year. The next one is in April. And I got personally asked by them to join the accelerator. However, when he explained the accelerator, he said that Cointelegraph, one of their strengths is media. So they offer a media package. They have 4 million people that, subscribe, listen to their tweets, have good authority on Web3. They've been around since 2017. But what they don't want to do is bring you in to validate your idea, because then you're going to use the media package to try and find your consumers. They want you to be at least have some traction, and they want to use the media package and the 12 weeks to accelerate and boost the people you already have. So I personally declined, even though I was offered to enter based off of what they said. I know they're not looking for pre-traction. They
For
don't mind
sure.
seed, but pre-traction, that's basically an idea.
They don't
So
want to like ride their swells, because they want to bring actual value to their people.
yeah, and the value they bring to you is media. So if you have an idea and you're just testing with the media, it's really not going to give them a good return on investment. It's just going to help you now get your first customers. They want you to scale your customers when they give you the media package and go through accelerator. So that makes sense. But that was the validation for me was getting personally invited. Another was the other teams that pitched. One wanted to use my tool right away, but it was just a PowerPoint presentation I did at the time. So she's like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "No." That's why I was pitching. But so that was also really validating. And the next is kind of a partnership, but I'm going to pause because again, I want to at least build a functioning site, even if it's basic at first, because that person has a different part of entertainment that's kind of like the neighbor to what my thing does. I'm focusing more on the business. He's focusing more on the pop culture, but he has access to a ton of agencies, like all the agencies. So I can build out this tool and let agencies, bring that whole network in, based off of that partnership. But I'm not going to do that too early because it's literally not built. So that's the other option that I have. And then lastly, I want to take this to 2 other accelerators in particular this year, both this year. So yeah, I think just getting it built out in a basic way. The only other roadblock, because I have great connections, I have great networks, I have, VCs getting excited. But the other roadblock that I also know from experience is that VCs want a co-founder, especially if you're a non-technical co-founder like me. They want at least 2 people. And so that's also, I either have maybe really good traction and I can say that the funding coming in will help me find the co-founder, or a CTO or something like that. Yeah, so there's ways around not doing that, but I know teams are very important to investors. They don't want solopreneurs. You have an 80% chance higher to have co-founders to be funded. It's just a fact, especially a complementary founder, not just 2 visionaries, but no technical people, right? Or all tech nerds, but they don't, there's no one that can actually speak to a crowd or have that CEO charisma. So I need my opposing side, or at least solid traction, and I can say I'm bringing that person on, with your money. So
Yeah.
that's my roadblock besides building the tech.
Yeah. So, I was raised on cash flow business, and what I mean by that is that when I was at Gigster before joining you at Bueno, Gigster was all about founders with 10K that wanted to build an MVP. And if anything, at Gigster, we went through the ups and downs, and the reality is that the winner founders were the ones who were thinking cash flow, meaning they could pitch their idea and get cash on front and then deliver. So then if I were to actually partner with you and then bring everything that I have, I would take on the work to be like, okay, let me pitch this shit, get some cash now, And then if I cannot deliver on what was promised, then I will refund these people. But I would play it like that. I would get cash like now, instead of building first and then getting cash. What are your thoughts on that? Like, have you heard stories, or like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there are many ways to the top. There are many ways to do things, and I'm always about going with your strengths, because at the end of the day, it's what can get something done, and at least it doesn't create these long waits and a lot of effort and then maybe no funding. So for me, funding sooner is fine with me. Yeah, and sometimes the wait for some people is getting the money. So other times it's building the tool and the money is waiting for you. So it depends on what the market is and what our skill sets are, but I'm happy to try and get funding in sooner than later. It just makes sense for me. It also makes sense for the people I work with. It's hard to just stay on because the idea is great and the people are awesome, but that doesn't pay the bills. So yeah, I mean that's the reality of it. So I'm careful with that, and some things I've had to discontinue in my career just because it wasn't the right time, and I wanted to pay the people that were so willing to help me. I've had people help me for low cost, no cost, and cost, and I never take advantage of the people that willingly help me at no cost just because they know the things I can put out. So I don't want, if something goes on too long, I'm happy to pivot or switch, because I don't want to waste people's time, because I don't want to waste my own time. So yeah,
That's cool. I love the idea. All right, so I'm gonna do my due diligence. I may ask you for some things over the course of the next 72 hours. I'm excited. I love the tool. Me and Danny, we're really data driven, and that's like
awesome.
We have made an agreement of who we want to become in the next decade, and it's all about data driven tools. So it's
awesome.
coincidence, a very good one. Hey, thanks for the trust. We'll bring you updates soon. I'm excited. And what else? I will send you Danny's email so he can have access to that drive as well. Yes.
Okay. One last thing I wanted to say: as much as possible, I want to keep the code off of public GitHub and things like that, as much as possible. Even being weary of how we plug into Lovable and different things like that. So that's why I'm doing very basic things on Figma, because I once we kind of go into the code, I need to kind of do it quick, and I as much as possible, I just don't want it public. There are good people and bad people in tech. The tech is neutral, but there's hackers, there's scammers, there's copycats. There's some big brands that want to get their hands on code, and yeah, so just keeping it safe. Just thinking about that as devs, keeping it as private as possible.
Agreed with you. Thank you, Cass. We have to jump on the next one. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you both. All right.
Ciao, ciao.
See ya.